folks, I got to tell you a little bit about this airplane so you can see and understand the amazing feats that Ross is enjoying in this airplane. Just imagine that this aircraft is like your family SUV with wings. You can pack up the kids, the entire family. You can put in the camping gear, all your food supplies, take it out to the outback. You can dump all that at the campsite, and then you can take your SUV for some extra fun in the logging trails and do a little bit of 4x4ing. Granley comes from a large family of pilots that include his grandparents, his uncles, his parents, his cousins, brothers, his sister Deb, and his wife Sherry, and even his son. He was born in Red Deer, Alberta back in 1963 on a Royal Canadian Air Force base where his father was a flight instructor. He showed an early love of flying and a strong desire to make flying his life ambition. He joined the Air Force in 1985. Earned his wings in 1987, and then taught flying in the Canadian-designed and built CT-114 Tudor jet. That's the same airplane being used today by our Canadian Forces Snowbirds demonstration team. Folks, this is the rolling 360-degree turn. I hope you noticed the altitude that Ross started this maneuver. The goal is to end the maneuver at show center at approximately the same altitude that he started. What do you think of Ross Granley so far, folks? Now I want you to pay attention to this maneuver as he just lets the airplane slip back down through his own smoke. Folks, we call that the tail slide. Airplane through its maneuvers, hanging upside down, hanging in the straps, as Ross gets a good look at the B1RD hanging out there at show center. Outside snap roll again. This is like a family SUV. Pretty incredible machine flown by Ross Granley. The distinctive growling sound you're hearing from the airplane comes from its very powerful 355 horsepower Benyev M14 9-cylinder radial engine. It propels that aircraft through the sky to a maximum speed of just shy of 300 kilometers an hour and can get the airplane up to about 18,000 feet above the ground, and with zero wind has a range of just shy of 600 kilometers. Now kids, I want to ask you, I know school's out, but what number do you see or do you think Ross is creating up there in the sky? Well, if the smoke hadn't blown it away, you would have seen the great big vertical 8. Big roll on that 60-degree incline, and now snap rolling the airplane again. Ross Granley in the incredible Yak 18T. Look at the very tight turning capability of the I8T. It rivals some of the incredible fighter jets that we see sometimes at air shows, performed so expertly by Ross Granley. As a matter of fact, this machine spent a little bit of time in the Russian military. It was one of 100 built back for them. It's quite a story that you'll want to ask Ross about once he's done his performance. Just ask him about the adventures he went through to actually import this airplane here into North America. Now you might be wondering, or you may have noticed, that there's a very distinctive number 2 on the tail of the aircraft. Look very closely as he goes by. You'll see that number 2 on the tail. It represents the number 2 Canadian Forces Flight Training Squadron. That's the squadron Ross instructed at for a number of years in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. But that's not what all it means. That number also represents the position Ross flew as Snowbird number 2 during his tour with the Canadian Forces Snowbirds from 1990 to 1991. And finally, yes, there's more, folks. It is also his son's favorite number. Again, hanging upside down with the blood rushing to his head. You're in a zero-G environment there, just hanging in the straps. It can be very, very uncomfortable as Ross performs for us another series of graceful rolls. Just on the threshold of runway 07, that's a compass setting of about 70 degrees. Ross Granley just touching down there after just a spectacular performance in the I8T. Give him a wave as he taxis by on the rollout. Wave your hats, wave your hands, wave your 3-year-old, heck, wave even grandma. He can see you from there. Ross, you're starting to wander from the center line. Might need to do a little adjustment there. All right, back to Grace here at Show Center, flying the helicopter down our show line backwards this time.